Dawson's Rambles.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Ryder here. Welcome to another discussion video about the Power Rangers Reboot universe coming to Netflix soon. As of this recording, the last rumored news was about it being a full reboot after a movie that leads into a TV series. So just in case this is uploaded and there's new news after it, I just want to say this is the last thing this version of Dawson knows about, but I wanted to talk about this idea based on that and based on a couple other things that inspired me. This video is going to be about, I think that a perfect Power Rangers Netflix reboot series could be a Cobra Kai style MMPR series. Now there's definitely some problems that could go wrong with that, but I wanted to talk about why I think it could actually be one of the best things. This is far from my original idea. I've seen this idea tossed around a ton, but I've just been thinking about it a lot recently with the new news. I thought about it when the new script came out, or the old script came out, the script details about the time travel, because it talked about the new team being mentored by past Rangers with crazy time travel and multiverse stuff, and I thought how could you do this simpler in a way that's cool without overwhelming the audience? And I think a Cobra Kai style show could work. Now, if you don't know what Cobra Kai is, it is the Karate Kid movie sequel series that was originally a YouTube original, and then it became a Netflix exclusive, and it's going to be going into season 5 very soon. But it's a sequel to the original Karate Kid movies, originally primarily following the perspective of Honey, the main rival of the first movie. And it's absolutely amazing. And I think one of the most common phrases I've seen about the show is it has no right to be this good. And by that, I don't think, for me, it doesn't mean I thought it was going to be bad, but I just never was that invested in the Karate Kid movies to the point where I think I would be this invested in this series. I like the Karate Kid movies. I watched them a lot growing up. I watch them on TV every now and then, but it was kind of in my C-tier level of movies. Not in I thought they were bad movies way, but C-tier level of interest compared to other movies I like more, like Star Wars or Terminator or something. So it's immensely surprising to me that a movie series I liked casually when I was younger now has a series that's probably in my top 10 series right now. And I think that nobody expected it to be so good. And I certainly didn't think it was bad, because I'm never the type of person that's oh, you've disgraced the original and somehow ruined my memories of it, because that's just not what happens. It's just so surprisingly great. And what makes it so good, in my opinion, is Johnny Lawrence. So we just need Johnny Lawrence in a show called MMPR, but it's not even about Power Rangers, it's just about Johnny Lawrence going around doing stuff. What makes it so great is it finds a way to, in my opinion, organically continue the storylines from the original movies and the characters from the original movies, while also springboarding it for a new generation of characters and integrating that right. And there's also fun winks and callbacks and stuff, but for the most part, when they bring things back, it's always meaningful, and they just blend it so well. It's honestly so impressive. I can't even believe how well they do it. And I hate to use these words because I hate when people say honor the original or do justice to the source material. Those are two of my least favorite things, but they really do honor the original movies with a brilliant continuation while pushing forward. And I think that's what MMPR could do. Right now, the rumor is a full reboot, but as we know, there's a lot of MMPR nostalgia, that's making older fans kind of sick of it, myself included to a degree. But that being said, the longer we've gone on, especially with this Neo Saban era, post-Neo Sabanish era of Samurai through Dino Fury, I've realized what's really important to me is the story. And so long as we have a good story, that's all I want. It's kind of the same as the comics. If I can have the great comic stories, or if I could get a Cobra Kai MMPR series that was on the level of Cobra Kai, I would gladly watch that for years, even if it's MMPR related, over a bunch of mediocre Sentai adaptations. I mean, I would watch a Cobra Kai MMPR series that's great over a lot of recent Sentai series. It just brings home what's important to me, is that I want the story to be good. It doesn't matter to me so much. If it's MMPR, so be it, if that's what we need. Unfortunately, the large amount of casuals just know MMPR, but I think that poises MMPR to be in a similar position to Cobra Kai, where you probably have a lot of people like me that casually watched the Karate Kid movies when they were younger, but weren't necessarily huge fans, but then became huge fans because of Cobra Kai. And if you can do that, if you can bring fans into MMPR, this new show, as casually liked it, oh yeah, those were fun when I was younger, and then introduce this show that's really great, you could skyrocket popularity. And then the good thing about the MMPR era, though, is it opens up a lot, because it started the original Zordon era that went through in space, and also springboarded into multiple other eras. So you could very much so work it like Cobra Kai, where every season you start to bring back more characters in a natural way to the plot, and that could be a good way to reintroduce characters that maybe casual fans vaguely clearly remember and inspire them to check out the other series. You know, after I got into Cobra Kai, I rewatched the original 3 Karate Kid movies, and I kind of forgot about Terry Silver, and then I rewatched the 3rd one, and it was perfect timing for Terry Silver being in season 4. Spoilers for season 4, but it's no longer a secret, it's information. They could do the same thing with this show if it was that same style. You know, I would honestly start with core MMPR characters, but you could later bring in some stuff from Zeo. You could even bring in space characters. I know people are going to be like, no JDF, but if JDF was in the show, you could easily bring in TJ as the person that was his successor. There's interesting stories there. You could bring in Dino Thunder characters. You could even bring in Time Force people because veteran Rangers have met them. And you wouldn't do this all at once, but if you could get your hooks into fans that liked MMPR and get them invested, then you can gradually do this. And Cobra Kai does it so well. And the pacing of the way they bring back people is done so well, and this just opens up the doors for that. The other thing that Cobra Kai does so well, in my opinion, too, is not that the original movies didn't have depth and character, but there were a lot of characters that were more one note in the movies, that just served one purpose, but now they're being given amazing depth, and that's what MMPR could do with this. You know, just like the comics do. Take these characters that were one-note cardboard pieces and make them actual characters. This could be a great way to give 3-dimensional characters to the original cast and then mentor new characters. And you know, I wouldn't want them to all be kids of the originals. I think just like Cobra Kai, mix in maybe a couple kids of Rangers, but then also some new characters, maybe bring in some other stuff. Like something people are going to think about is the hexagon idea, especially when you bring up Cobra Kai, where the hexagon idea had Jason and Tommy like having warring ideals of Rangers, and you could immediately think, oh, we should do that, just like Miyagi-Do versus Cobra Kai or Eagle Fang, but do it with Rangers. You could do something like that, but when I say be like Cobra Kai, I'm not saying use their exact storyline. I think there could be some interesting stuff there. I wouldn't want it to be exactly like that, but you could do some similar ideas there. I mean, that idea would not be so bad, you know, if there was a warring ideal about Rangers and about what Zordon meant and sort of analyzing all of that through a new grown-up lens. And you can make the tone of the show perfect. Like Cobra Kai, if you were to take out some of the more adult stuff, like about the drinking, and I think there's a little bit swearing and stuff, it could honestly be an almost perfect tone for Power Rangers. I mean, honestly, if they said like the S word once in Power Rangers, I wouldn't be mad. I feel like there's going to be some people clutching them pearls if that happened. What I'm saying is that Cobra Kai does have some like adult themes, but it never makes it feel like it's a hardcore HBO show or something like that. Like if you were to go in there and edit those tones out, it would actually be a perfect tone for a Power Rangers show like this, and it could make for an amazing show. I just can't stop thinking about how well it could work, because there's a lot about MMPR's foundation that's so similar to Karate Kid, not just because of the karate. I mean, the karate's there too, but like Karate Kid was like this classic like 80s cool movie, and MMPR was like this classic like, yeah, 90s type of thing. And it lays this foundation to the point where Cobra Kai feels like this 80s tribute show, but also something new. And if they could do something similar with MMPR, it could just work so well. Not to mention, setting all this aside about praising Cobra Kai and things they could take from it, this could be such a perfect way to do a kind of soft reboot while gaining new audience based off of an existing audience, if that makes any sense. Setting aside the core fandom, I want to set aside the hardcore fandom for a minute because I think they're too particular. There's a lot of casual fans that just know MMPR, you know, and those people could be brought in to become more hardcore fans with this. And this could really capture that because you hook them in with the nostalgia like with Cobra Kai, but then you keep them with a good show. And you could bring in casual fans that only know some of the Fox Kids shows. You could bring in casual fans that just know Power Rangers in name, just like Cobra Kai did. It could be the perfect thing because then you're not gambling it all on a full reboot. You're doing a reboot with the new characters just like you do in Cobra Kai, but you're getting people in the door with the old thing they love, but you treat it in a meaningful way. And it could be just such a perfect way to soft reboot it and even springboard this universe if it works well. I'm thinking about that because of that script of the time travel multiverse stuff that sounded hella complicated. I like the idea of them being mentored by past Rangers and doing this history thing to like, you know, blend the old and new together. And I was trying to think, what's the simplest way you could do that? And I did a video about how it should be like an MMPR only continuation, and this is what it could be. It could be an MMPR Cobra Kai-esque continuation. The great thing about the cameos and the returns for that is that this may sound weird for me because I'm usually not a person that would want cameos and returns because we've overdone it, but the thing about Cobra Kai ones is that they are meaningful. It's not about like, oh my god, they're going to stand next to each other and fight over an idiotic misunderstanding. It's like there's legitimately great rivalries and interactions. You want to see them interact. And that's what I like about cameos and returns, is the meaning behind it and not the shallow part of it. and I think that an MMPR style Cobra Kai thing could work for that. This is just my thoughts. I don't think this is going to happen because of all we've been hearing. It sounds like they're doing just a straight up reboot. I know there was rumors of an MMPR reunion. I don't know whether that was like a reunion show where they suit up or if it was like a Friends Harry Potter style reunion where they all just sit around a couch and talk. I don't know. But I don't think this is going to happen based on what we're currently hearing. But it's an idea that I think could work very well. Like if we could somehow make this happen, I'm like 87% sure it could be successful. What do you guys think of this idea? How would you change it up? Let me know in the comments as always. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell so you can continue to subscribe videos. It's Awesome Rider, signing out.